All right. So this three-way crossover was basically voted on by everyone over on Patreon. I want to thank everyone for sending in, being part of this next vote. And as always, if you guys would like to be part of the next, or be part of polls in general that affect videos here on YouTube as well as here on over there on Patreon, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the first tier. That'll allow you access to do so. As well as check out movie reviews. I will be doing, barring any changes, that's where you're going to see my review for Wolfman, which is coming out in a few days. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for that, as well as future movie reviews as well as check out, like, episode reviews. I'll be doing reviews of, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on there. I was going to do Creature Commandos, but, things got away from me. Anyway, so, yeah, let's get started. So this one won by a huge margin, by 47% of the margin. As you can see, Street Sharks, TMNT, and Road Rovers. The others were El Tigre, Suicide Squad, and Hellraiser, Ghost in the Shell, Spider-Man 2099, and Doctor Who, Predator, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Kolchak the Night Stalker. But yeah, let's get into this one. So the story begins with the Street Sharks live, at their little home base, just eating, taking a break from fighting Paranoid. When suddenly they just start hearing explosions going off, and out of nowhere they just get attacked relentlessly by these guys carrying heavy weaponry and wearing body armor. So they're like, are these guys from Paranoid? Where did they come from? But all that matters is just getting out of there, because these guys are like, death to the mutant, to the mutant's gene, or, death to the mutant scum. Humans only. The world belongs to the hands of humanity. So, but the Street Sharks escape, and as they're escaping into the sewers, they're like, how the fuck did that happen? Ripster is just trying to keep all of his brothers safe, and that's when they hear a voice behind them go, yeah, we're trying to figure that out too. They turn around, it's the Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles arrived all the way from New York to Fishin' City in order to recruit the Street Sharks, because they were the first ones to get attacked by the hands of humanity. And they weren't the only ones, because the other group that hooked up with the Ninja Turtles were the Road Rovers, who also got attacked. So the Road Rovers already shacked up with the Ninja Turtles, and they're just like, you aren't the only mutants we've been trying to locate, but you're the ones we managed to find before the others got captured. And they're just like talking like, the biker mice from Mars, the extreme dinosaurs, they've all been captured. Like, those teams have been captured and are now under the possession of this group called the Hands of Humanity. So the Street Sharks hook up with the Turtles and the Rovers, and they're all just kind of like comparing notes, because they're like, who the hell are these guys? Like, where did these guys come from? How did they get here? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. And they're all like, well, what do we know about these guys? Like, what do we know as such about this group? Like, what do these guys have? And they're basically kind of talking like, well, okay, so it's obviously a human-based group. They have a serious mat-on for, anything that isn't non-human, and they're after mutants. Like, they are hunting down anything. It's not just mutants. Like, it could be anyone who may even not look human. So they're like, well, how do we, first we got to break out the others, but also we have to figure out more information as to what's going on. So Jab, Donnie, and Exile are all kind of like going through all the science data and trying to figure out, like, okay, what could have possibly, who are these guys, and let's kind of trace them all, like, kind of trace them back. And they're kind of going through online, like, the first thing, because it's actually Raphael who suggests, how about we comb through social media, through all those social media groups that are full of, angry, hateful people, full of those, like, those right-wing con artists. And they're like, that's stupid, there's no way. Oh my god, that is. And sure enough, there are all these, like, chat rooms and like, these social media groups that are, like, full of these like humanity and America first kind of groups, but rather target another race of humans. They're like, no, the mutants are out there. The mutants are out there, propagating and making taking away good jobs from humanity. And when good policemen and firefighters are out there holding the line, these mutants who call themselves superheroes are coming in and taking their jobs as true American heroes. And it's all just kind of these groups. And the one group kind of orchestrating this all is the Hands of Humanity, who are they're this very they're this extremist group made up of these. Some of them are former soldiers, former cops. Others are just guys with we're these 40-year-old guys with nothing better to do with their guns other than shoot at something they don't like. So, yeah. It basically, they formed a group, and on one point, Hunter points out, Hunter is like, well, on one hand, I'm glad they're after us and not some poor gay community that is going to get lined up and shot, but still, this sucks. So the group is like trying to figure out where the Hands of Humanity really started. And that leads to them they have three possible targets after kind of combing through all the information. So there are three separate targets that they need to hit to really cripple the Hands of Humanity before they can start really becoming a major threat to other non-human heroes and other groups. So one team is sent to go find the extreme dinosaurs and the biker mice. Another group is sent to this weapons facility that's forging all of these heavier firepower weapons. And another one is this compound, which seems to be the home base of the Hands of Humanity. So that's how. So the team split up, with Leo leading one team, Ripster leading another, and Hunter leading the third team. And it's all made up of all the other, of course, it's a mishmash of all the characters. And from there, they all begin splitting up and fighting these various forces. So Hunter's team is tasked with breaking out the other mutants. Leo's team is taking out the weapons facility, and Ripster's team is taking out the weapons facility, while Leo leads the charge on the main compound. So Ripster and his squad, they start taking out the heavy weapons, and they start seeing that some of these weapons aren't just guns with bullets. These are lasers, and some of them are even have guys with huge mech suits. And they're like, this has got to be coming from a guy who has some serious money behind them. Hunter's team does break out the other mutants, but they do discover that their genetic composition and their strands of their DNA has been taken in order to be sold. And they're like, someone is taking their DNA, and I thought they were if they really want, and they actually have this moment of, hey, if they really wanted to kill them, if this Hands of Humanity group really wanted to kill them, why capture them and take their DNA for, clone? It seems like they want to use it for cloning or something. So they're piecing it together because they're in radio contact with Ripster and his team, and they're like, yeah, we just found that these guys are carrying heavier firepower, and I think I know who's behind it. They're starting to be I think we know who's behind this. And sure enough, Leo's team attacks the main compound, and from there they discover who's behind this whole shit. It is none other than Baxter fucking Stockman. Baxter Stockman was the one behind it all. Reason being, he was like, it's so easy. You just rile up anyone on the internet, and they do anything you want them to say, regardless of race, religion, or creed. You rile them up, and if it's one thing I've learned about humanity is that if you give humanity the right, a good enemy, they'll team up and kill it until they go back to killing each other. So if anything, I'm actually keeping the worst of humanity from hurting everyone else on you guys. But hey, I was going to also turn a profit with the machines I was going to sell, and when the Hands of Humanity goes international, I was going to sell the weapons and armor that I was building, And then I was also going to sell to the military, to various military and government groups, the DNA to make their own mutants to fight for them, and also keep this whole cycle of, humanity versus mutants going, and I'm the one behind it all. And they're like, and Leo's has this moment of all the fucking schemes you have done, Stockman, this is by far, you have literally you want to turn humanity against itself for your own profit. And he's like, yeah, I learned that, world domination ain't what it used to be, but, ruling through money and keeping a state of perpetual war, it works. So, they all fight, but as they're fighting, Colleen, who's in, Leo's group, actually breaks away because here's the thing. Baxter Stockman used to be a mutant. He used to be a fly. So what Colleen does is has Donnie send up all the data of Baxter Stockman as a fly, because that's not really internationally. That isn't like commonly known knowledge to the world. So she uploads the image, uploads the data to the mainframe and all the websites for the hands of humanity. And what they do, they're like, we've been bamboozled, we've been double-crossed, betrayed, and quite possibly bamboozled. So the hands of humanity immediately turn on Stockman. Even one guy shoots it, gives him almost a lethal wound, and now Stockman's begging the heroes to save him, and they're like, I don't know, Stockman, I mean, these are your people, maybe you should go talk to them and calm them down. But he of course, Stockman, being the bitch that he is literally begging Leo to save them, so they have to fight their way through all the hands of humanity, and that's when the other two teams arrive alongside the mice and the dinos to turn the tide on them, leading to them being defeated. So they're without their leader, they're just kind of disillusioned, and that's when Leo's like, maybe you guys can go do, I don't know, you guys could help with the VA or help in your local communities. That'd be cool. And they're like, yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing with our lives? I didn't want to fight mutants, I just wanted to be heard as a person. And they're like, yeah, well, I hear you. How about you go help everyone else? They're like, yeah, we'll do that. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is the three-way crossover. I want to thank everyone for voting on this. This was a lot of fun to do. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.